Who are the big wild cards in college football this year? We're going to go through every single Power 4 conference and pick out 1 to 2 teams and tell you why they are a wild card in college football. But before you go anywhere, if you are new to Rush the Field, welcome, man. All I'll ever ask of you is to give me a chance to talk football. Whether that's a like, a comment, a subscribe, I want to build a community here. This means the world to me. Anytime you guys giving me an opportunity to talk football. And if you're returning, welcome back, man. Let's go ahead and talk. Who is the biggest wild card in the ACC? I would argue it is Miami. They've been able to bring in a ton of talent, whether that's through traditional recruiting or the transfer portal. We all know Mario Cristobal has been able to bring in talent, but he has not had the narrative around him that he is a good game day head coach, that he's been able to step up to the plate. We all saw what happened against Georgia Tech and that fumble of a lead. I've never seen anything like that. But this is a new year, and they get a huge opportunity against Florida week 1. On top of that, they get some of their difficult games at home. We're talking about Florida State, Duke, Virginia Tech, all at home. Now, they do have to play Louisville away, but they also get to avoid Clemson and NC State. And a guy like Cam Ward comes in at quarterback and I think brings some real leadership, some stability, even though he is a transfer. And that's why I think this team could be a huge wild card in the ACC. It ranges from this entire thing falling apart, and they're looking at potentially changing head coaches all the way to winning the ACC. The definition of a wild card is the Miami football team this year. Who is the biggest wild card in the Big Ten? You could say Iowa figures out how to play offense. You could say USC, maybe they figure out defense. Penn State, maybe Drew Allar is actually a quarterback and not an edge rusher. But my answer is always going to be Nebraska. You bring in a 5-star quarterback in Dylan Raiola. You have a great defense. We have seen what year 2 Matt Rule is like. The biggest game for Nebraska is against Colorado very early into the year. If they're able to win that game, from that point forward until October 26th when they have to face the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's a very favorable schedule. And I think, honestly, they could beat Colorado. I wouldn't call that an upset if they were able to beat them, and it wouldn't shock me if they're favored going into that game. I think Dylan Raiola could be a really good quarterback in year 1. Now, am I saying they're going to go 11-1, 10-2, year 2 Matt Rule? I'm having this blind faith towards them. No, but a great year for them would be a 9-3. Maybe an 8-4 would kind of be the standard that they need to hit if they want to build momentum into 2025. But what if they lose to Colorado? I think they're going to lose to Ohio State, and then maybe they lose a couple more games. Maybe that momentum slows down. That's why they're a wild card team, because there's a lot of range of possibilities with this team, but I see the upside in why Nebraska could be really good this year. Colorado in general is a wild card of a program, from the roster and everything involved. I've been able to watch some Travis Hunter film and Shador Sanders film as the All-22s are starting to be released, and we're able to analyze how good they were last year. Man, they're going to have to take a lot of jumps in that front seven if they're going to be a good team. But when you have the quarterback, you have the talent in the corner/wide receiver room, there is a realm of possibility where they're a really good team. Maybe they go 9-3 and shock some people. I don't think I really have to explain this in depth for people to understand why this is a wild card team in the Big 12. That's why I'm also going to throw out Kansas as a wild card team, just because Jalen Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the country when healthy. And I made the poor mistake in my Big 12 tier list video to accidentally edit out Kansas. Kansas has a great corner room, and they have a great quarterback when he is healthy. He's just not been healthy, man. And that's the most heartbreaking part of it, is because I can't really have a lot to say about Kansas because it's all hinged on a quarterback that has had a variance in injury history. So I don't know what they could be. That's a wild card. So I think Kansas or Colorado, they range from potentially being in the Big 12 title game to kind of being in the bottom half of the Big 12. That's how wild their ceiling versus floor is. The biggest wild card in the SEC is Texas A&M. When we look at the list of what teams could skyrocket into a realm that they haven't been in a very long time, you could throw in Oklahoma, but I don't think their schedule favors them as much. But, maybe they surprise some people. So I would also say Oklahoma's in that world. But Texas A&M, with the talent on this roster, I think Mike Elko is stepping into a place that has a lot of things built for him already. He has the facilities, he has the stadium, the resources. I can repeat myself over and over. Everything A&M has is a national title winning program needs. But they haven't had the results on the field. Very reminiscent of what Miami has been. Mike Elko is stepping into a position where he doesn't need to recruit or bring in a transfer class to bring his guys in. There is already great talent on there. They have a quarterback that has been pretty injury prone, so they need a healthy year from him. But if they're able to step up to the plate, they have a manageable SEC schedule for that standard. It's not like a Florida Gators or even Oklahoma. They have Missouri, LSU, Texas, and Notre Dame. Their most difficult games this year at home. They also have to win games at Florida. So that is not just something you just bat an eye at. So is there a world where, maybe they lose all 4 of those games and a middle of the pack SEC team catches them in an away game? Yeah. And they end up going 7-5 in the first year of Mike Elko. But what if they beat all the middle of the pack teams and then, gets Notre Dame? I believe they're favored -1. So it's like a pick 'em. They're favored against Notre Dame. They win that one. And then maybe they beat Texas or LSU or Missouri. They're all of a sudden looking like a 10-2 program in the college football playoff. So this team is a huge wild card because there's a lot of unknowns. We don't know if Connor Wigman can stay healthy. We don't know what Mike Elko is as a Texas A&M head coach. I have confidence that he's a good head coach, but we don't know what he is at this major program at the top. The offense needs to get better. The offensive line has to get better. The secondary has to get better. There's a lot of questions, but if it all goes right, man, this team could be very dangerous in a manageable schedule. If we had to pick a wild card from the independence tier / the Pac-12 or the Pac-2, Notre Dame, man, with Riley Leonard, I don't think people really realize how good this team could be. They have a ton of NFL talent, and now they bring in a quarterback that they trust. I honestly think that they brought in some incredible coordinators hires. I think one of the most underrated hires in the entire country was the LSU offense coordinator that coached Jaden Daniels. I just watched that offense to get an understanding of Garrett Nussmeier. Man, if they have any help in the wide receiver room, they're going to be able to stretch the field downfield. Like, it's incredible to watch. They just need the help in the wide receiver room, and they need Riley Leonard to stay healthy. They have great corners. They have great talent on this team and a manageable schedule. And it's hinging on whether or not they win that first game in Kyle Field against Texas A&M, a team I just talked about. They're able to get Louisville. They're able to get Florida State both at home, and then they play at USC. But I think they should be able to handle a USC team that I'm not anticipating to have that much better of a defense. And I'm expecting at least bare minimum, as much as maybe Lincoln Riley wants his get back for what happened last year, Notre Dame should handle business there. But if they're able to go into a very tough environment with a veteran quarterback and beat Texas A&M, the ceiling's pretty high for this Notre Dame team. Now, one thing that does concern me is the independence factor. When we're talking about the college football playoff, they don't get an automatic bid. They have to win an at-large bid against the Big Ten and the SEC teams and maybe a really strong ACC team. So it's not super easy for them to, automatically get into the playoff, but they have the ceiling to do so. And I think that they could be a sneaky good team. As someone that is a fan of Texas A&M, it does worry me because Notre Dame is a really, really good team. I think they have arguably the second best corner in the country right there with Travis Hunter. That might be a hot take to some people. No disrespect to Travis, but it's more of a compliment to what Notre Dame and Benjamin Morrison has been able to accomplish. But I don't want to reiterate myself over and over. I think a lot of people that say Notre Dame is overrated, I ask you one thing. Where are they rated? And if you were able to say, maybe that 9 to 10, that 10 to 15 range, I would say they're perfectly rated with the ceiling to take that next step. I just think sometimes we got caught up in what happened with Brian Kelly over the couple of years where they got to the big game and just got smacked around. I feel like the narrative or the glass ceiling has the potential to be broken this year with Notre Dame, and maybe they skyrocket into a realm that they've been trying to achieve over the past couple of years. Which group of 5 team could sneaky make the playoff as their automatic buy-in that isn't like the Boise States, the Appalachian States of the world? I don't want to discredit all the favorites, right? Liberty should go 12-0. Go look at that schedule. There's not a shadow of a doubt that they should go 12-0. Why can't Texas State, though? Let me get in my Texas State bag. Listen, I'm always going to have a bias to my alma mater. I'll be transparent on that. But why can't Texas State go in there? They have a manageable schedule. A very manageable schedule. They surprised a lot of people. They won their first bowl game in school history last year. So they got the head coach, in my opinion. And I think they might have even upgraded at the quarterback position. They brought in the number 1 overall class in the entire Sun Belt. Their most difficult games, I believe, is going to be against UTSA at home. And then they get Arizona State, a lower level Power 4 team, at home. With all the conference realignment, I had to hesitate there on whether they were a Power 4 team. They're in the Big 12. So They have a very manageable schedule. They potentially got better on the offensive side of the ball. They were able to retain some key pieces, not to the Power 4 schools, specifically in the running back room. And then they need that defense to get better. And I think they added some pieces to do so, especially in that front seven. So is there a world where Texas State is in the running for the playoff? It's a wild card. That's the definition of it. They could do it because they have all the pieces to do so. But what if they don't improve that defense? Then we're looking at like a 9-3 year, a solid bowl game. It'd be great for the program, but they are investing so much money. Trust me, I know it firsthand. They are pumping a ton of investment into this program, and I think it may pay off this year. And who knows? Who knows? Eat 'em up, Cats. They could easily make the 12-team playoff this year. And with that being said, that's the whole video, man. I don't know what else to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I will always ask from you just one thing. Give me another shot. I want to talk football with you guys, so give me another shot. And thank you guys so much for your time, and have a fantastic day. Stay safe. I know the hurricanes are hitting the lower part of Texas right now. Being from the Houston area, I know how serious that can be. So stay safe, please, and have a fantastic day.